What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kuempel of Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. I am super pumped. I have some really great special guests with me today. Not only are they awesome guests, but they are some friends of mine as well. I have Tony Paulella of Tony P's Networking Events and his partner, Greg DeKalb. Guys, thank you so much. I know you're incredibly busy, so I am really excited to have you on the show today. So why don't you introduce yourself? I know, Greg, you're going to go first. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. And, then we're going to just dive into all that juicy stuff with you and Tony.
Awesome. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity. My name is Greg DeKalb. I am the co-founder and CEO of Appointments IQ and Tony P's Network Events, and involved with a few other type of organizations as well.
Yes, you've got a lot going on, so we're going to get more into that. So Tony, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you got going on?
Yeah, I'm Tony Paulella. A lot of people call me Tony P because they get the crazy Italian last name that's hard to spell and pronounce.
We were doing we did some practice runs before we started.
Yeah, and you nailed it, so thank you. I've known some people over 20 years that still can't say my name right. So you nail on the first try. It's awesome.
Me included.
Yeah. Yeah. And me and Greg have been friends for over 15 years and business partners for 5 years. And we started Appointments IQ, and that's gone very well. And the Tony P Network Events kind of morphed out of that and became its own animal. And things have been going awesome with that as well. Now, obviously, we've had to put that on hold because of the coronavirus pandemic, but we're putting plans together to start bringing them back to life pretty soon on a smaller scale and do them as virtual events as well. So it's something we'll talk to you more about on the show here today.
Awesome. And that's how I met you guys. I actually got introduced to your networking events. And just such a great group of people that you bring together. And I've been a fan for over a year now. And that's how long I've known you, because I think I started going in March of last year. And I actually started going because I was getting ready to do an event against human trafficking, which you guys supported me on, which was awesome. And I've made so many friends from your events, and they are just awesome. I can't wait for things to get rocking and rolling again. And so I can start seeing all of our people, out in the city and just living life. You know what I mean? So you guys have a lot of different things going on. So you have Appointments IQ, but you also have some other stuff going on that you're working on. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can actually share a little bit about that. So what happened, obviously, whenever COVID came along in February, and we had to essentially shut down the Tony P's networking events for that period of time. We had to, reinvent ourselves more or less as entrepreneurs and, figure out, okay, if we can't do events, how do we spend our time wisely?
Sure.
So just by, coincidence, I was in the office one day at Workbox, and a new business partner of ours, Terrell, came by my office, and he's like, "Hey, I'm working on this marketing platform, this software. I want you to come take a look at it." And, one thing led to another, and we decided to, dive into it with them and build a business out of it.
Cool.
And we launched our own digital marketing platform called Hubio.
Okay.
We launched that about a month ago, and it's been really cool because now that it's up and going and we're working with clients and different entrepreneurs and business owners on their email marketing campaigns and their CRM, etc. When the events start, kicking on again, we're going to have this infrastructure in place to help service that business.
Sure. So it's very similar to like Constant Contact or like MailChimp, something like that.
So Constant Contact, MailChimp, Active Campaign, HubSpot.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I use Constant Contact, so I'd be interested in seeing like how you guys operate.
We'll have to have a conversation after this.
Yeah, I have like over, I think like almost 4,000 emails in my.
Oh wow.
in my contacts, so yeah, I have kind of a pretty big network because
There
I'm
you
out
go.
there moving and shaking like you guys. So that's really cool. So you guys are both doing this together?
Yep. And Tony's starting to work on the business development strategy.
Awesome, awesome. But Tony, you also have some other stuff going on, and actually, I've connected with Marcin, and you are involved in the credit repair industry as well, right?
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is while we're talking, I'm gonna kind of do a little panoramic view behind me of where I'm at because I live
Yes,
right by
guys, he's
Wrigley
in the
Field.
city.
I live by Wrigley Field, and me and my wife were doing some chores around the house. So I got kind of loud and vacuum cleaners and this and that, and our cat run around. So I had to get outside for a bit so I can be focused. But
No
also it's
worries.
beautiful out too.
It is.
Yeah, yeah. So I do a few different things. So I've been in the mortgage and real estate world for the last 3 years, and that's been really really good. And then also doing um, everything with that, and credit repairs kept me very busy too, because what I'm finding is a lot of people that need to buy a home, they need to get their credit fixed too. And
Yeah.
Marcin's one of my partners with that, and that's really been like I said, it's been keeping us busy. A lot of people, especially with the pandemic, their score has been compromised,
Oh yeah.
and
For
also
sure.
you got interest rates being crazy low with the pandemic and the economy being not so hot lately. Interest rates have gone down to historic lows. So people need to refinance their mortgage. People need to buy houses. It's been just crazy. And it's been like 12, 14-hour days have been the norm
Oh
for the
wow.
last few months, just doing that. But it's cool because all that kind of ties in everything that me and Greg are doing with our events, with Appointments IQ, with Hubio. We're all about cross-pollination. We're all about taking
Sure.
all these different businesses we have and finding all these people we know and incorporating them into the other businesses. So I actually got a friend of mine who runs a pretty big real estate operation who we met with for Hubio the other day, and he hasn't signed the contract yet, but we're really close,
Sure.
So like I said, we're just taking all the different businesses we have and we just try and just feed them into the other businesses so they just, keep that sustainability going.
Absolutely. And I think that that's very smart, and that's a great way to be efficient too when you have your hands into so many different things. I mean, I think I asked Greg this when we were on the phone, like, how are you guys managing all of these different businesses together? Because that's a lot. I mean, I speak from a place of experience. When my late hubby and I had 5 businesses, that's a lot that you're juggling at one time. So why don't you tell us a little bit how that works for you guys on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you can appreciate this, but it's definitely a team
Sure.
of people behind all of it. And really, finding good people to work with. We've had a lot of luck because we produced a networking event. So
Sure.
most of the people that have come and joined the Appointments IQ team or the Hubio team are people that we've built relationships with over the last couple of years. They know me and Tony, they know our partners, etc., and they want to really they want to join the team.
Sure.
So we've had good fortune in finding the people, and what that allows us to do is to delegate responsibilities,
Sure.
and give people an opportunity to say, hey, you know what, Tony P's networking events is good and it's great, but we're seeing a lot of demand for, hey, I'm a wine enthusiast. I want to go to more of a high end, um, more quaint type of place
Sure.
and experience some good wine with a few people. So we developed Wine and Shy
Oh,
to
that's
cater.
right. Okay, that's right. You guys did. Okay, I think Amanda did the logo for you guys, right?
Yes, Amanda did a logo
Yes.
for it. Yes. So at any rate, we created this event, and we only were able to have a couple
Sure.
before everything happened. But a good friend of ours, Davey Custa, who
Yes.
is a wine connoisseur and these type of things, and is in the industry, had been coming and supporting us at the Tony P Network at events. So we're like, hey, you know what? He loves this stuff. Let's create this platform. Let's cater to our audience. But at the same time, we have this trusted person that we've built this relationship with over the years that would be a great person to actually run it and, develop it and build it as a business.
I was not able to go to one of those. I know that I had something going on when one of the first or second ones you guys had. I was really looking forward to that because I'm a big wine drinker. Well, I like to drink a lot, period. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But that I was really looking forward to going to one of those events because that looked really cool.
Yeah, well, they'll be some of the first to come back, simply because it is a smaller audience type of event. Where we're looking at maybe 30 to 50 people. Um, so a lot of places based on capacity, these type of things could support that many people. So
Right. Yeah.
hopefully soon. Knock on wood.
Well, yeah, I think we've got maybe a month and a half left of this. Hopefully, it's done.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed. So you guys said that you've been partners for 15 years. How tell the audience about how that happened with you two, because you seem to work very well together, and I know that having a partner can be difficult. I was married, so that's a partnership right there. That's very difficult. So you guys are kind of married to each other, right?
Yeah, and ironically, I'm kind of at the scene of the crime because when me and Greg first met, it was actually before a Cubs game. We got a buddy of mine that I used to work with that Greg used to work with a previous company who introduced us, and then a group of us went to a Cubs game, and a bunch of us were like sales guys, and just kind of talking about work and fun stuff, this and that, and me and Greg had a very long conversation about LinkedIn because this was around the time that LinkedIn was first getting started,
Yeah.
And so actually was a big focus of our first conversation was talk about LinkedIn and how cool it was and how it helps, sales. Yeah, we became buddies pretty much instantly. And
So
then
just out of the middle of nowhere, you didn't know each other before. You just met on the street.
Well, no. So there's a friend of mine that I used to work with. I was working with at the time, who also worked with Greg at a previous company.
Okay.
So a group of us went to a Cubs game together, like a group of friends. But me and Greg met for the first time through this group of friends at the Cubs game.
Very cool.
And then we were just, like I said, we're talking about LinkedIn and sales and this and that, and we just kind of realized we were really like-minded individuals, and so obviously we first got done, we tried to socially, just hanging out, having fun, and then as we became better friends, we'd bounce ideas off each other for like sales and marketing and digital marketing and networking, all that stuff. And then 5 years ago, we were at a bar at Kincaid's just hanging out, and Greg's like, "Hey, I got this idea." And it's kind of like that classic story you always hear about people busting out a napkin and a couple of pens and just writing a bunch of stuff on a napkin and putting something together. That's kind of where Appointments IQ came from. But I don't want to steal Greg's thunder, though. I want him to tell the details of that story. But that's kind of – so we've been friends for 15 years and business partners for about 5 years.
Wow, that's amazing. So Greg, tell us a little bit about that, about Appointments IQ and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so through my career, I'd always been in sales and marketing.
Yes, and actually you have an MBA, correct?
Yep.
Yes, about you.
Yeah, I did the MBA, and then I did the concentration in sales leadership at DePaul. But at any rate, was always heavily involved with that, and always involved with organizations in a sales leadership capacity, managing and building sales teams and developing sales strategies, things of that nature. And I was working for a startup out of Vancouver, and basically the first responsibility I had was to develop a sales process for our inside sales team. So I went to work and basically put together a few different pieces of software and did some testing and these type of things, and came up with a methodology for business development.
Sure.
For outreach and creating meetings. It worked really well, and then that was about the time that I took it and sat down and was showing it to Tony and explaining how it worked. And he was like, man, this makes sense. And he started to use it and think about it. And we started working on this whole concept together.
Yeah.
And it morphed into something, and we called it Appointments IQ, and, took it to market.
So that was your first baby together, was Appointments IQ then, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
So where along those lines did Tony Peace come in to get born?
Yeah.
Here, I'll grab this piece, and then Greg, you could fill in. So I've been in sales for over 25 years, and what I learned a long time ago is that I did a lot better when I would do like networking and just do stuff off the clock. That's where the magic really seemed to happen, because anyone can cold call and do all that stuff, and usually people get turned off. So what I learned was by just going out and just having fun and meeting people, things just kind of came together, and so I'd been always going to a lot of networking events and whatnot. So our buddy Gianniano actually has been doing networking events for several years. So me and Greg went to a Gianniano event, and had a blast, and then that's where I started helping to promote John's events and a whole bunch of other events in the city, where I just call it Tony P's Network Events Calendar. So I did like a newsletter, did like a Facebook group where we were just promoting other people's stuff.
Sure.
But it was usually an exchange for free tickets and maybe a couple of drinks here and there. So I'd say, hey, everybody, we'll help promote your events. All we ask for in return is just we get in for free, and we get a couple of drinks and some food or whatever, because you realize pretty soon when you go to like 5, 7, 10 networking events a week at $15 to $30 a pop, it adds up after a while,
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So it's kind of a nice way to do a win-win, where we can help promote other people's events and not have to pay for them. And what happened was, by doing that, the name kind of got out there, and people would be at these events and they'd be like, wow, thank you, this event was so awesome, thank you for inviting me, or thank you for hosting this. I'm like, oh, well, we didn't host it, we just promoted it, And then people said, well, why don't you guys do events? You know a lot of people, you know how to get an audience. So and just so you know how me and Greg operate, I'm more of the analysis paralysis guy, whereas Greg is more of the Nike just do it guy. Where
really, I thought it would have been the opposite.
Oh no, I always like think things through to the nth degree and worry and stress out about stuff.
So he's a good balance for you.
Oh, Greg's a perfect balance, because he's the one who kicks me in the butt and says, no, screw it, let's just do it, man. It's like, we screw up or make a mistake, we'll try something else,
Yes, I love that.
So for a few months there, Greg was hounding me on pretty much on a daily basis to do our first networking event, and I was always worried. I'm like, what if it doesn't work out? What if no one shows up? What if it's a bust? Whatever. He's like, if it is, who cares? We'll try it again. We'll go back to the drawing board. So August of 2017, so almost exactly 3 years ago, we did our first event at Rocket.
Wow.
We were expecting about 100, 150 people, and 275 showed up.
That
was
amazing.
That was our first ever event. We're like, oh wait, I think we're on to something here, And then, up until the pandemic in March, we've been doing, a Tony P event once a month, every month. And then we started expanding to other things like the Green and Shy events, the Wine and Shy events, real estate events, Tech CXO, like a whole bunch of other things, because our audience said, hey, these 300 to 500 person events are awesome, but have you ever thought of doing smaller ones for more specific audience?
Sure.
So that's where these other things came to be. But yeah, even though it says Tony P, Greg has a major influence on it all happening. I mean, if anything, without Greg, these events never would have happened, because he's the one who got me to have the guts to just do it, because I was, not gonna lie, I was scared. I was paranoid. I didn't want it to be a failure and have us be laughing stocks, and it's actually been the opposite. They've actually gone very well, and it's opened up many doors for us since then.
Yeah, it's really hard putting yourself out there. I mean, I loved doing the event that I did. It was just a lot of work, and I mean, it was very different, obviously, because it was for charity. But that's a lot of work when you
Mhm.
are, and just that is it's a nerve-wracking feeling. Like, oh my God, are people going to show up? Are they going to buy a ticket? You know, so I get it. I can understand why you would be hesitant and feel that way. But yeah, he's right. Who cares? You know, you do it. It doesn't. You don't succeed, which clearly you did, and you will again when things get a little bit more back to normal. And it worked out for the best. I mean, look, I'm connected with you guys. I mean, I've met so many
Yeah.
great people through your events, and I'm still friends with them today. So, like, it was just meant to be. So that was your second baby, right?
That was, yep, yep.
Yeah.
So
And so
Yeah,
now
it will,
the who am I'm saying this correctly? Julio? Did I say that right?
hubby mail.
Fabio. So is that your
Yeah.
third?
Yeah, well, actually, there's a few other, I guess, like redheaded stepchildren too that we got as well. No, I'm just kidding.
Please share. You guys are the like absolute total entrepreneurs. You are successful. You are an example for anybody out there that's wanting to start a business or go after something that they believe in, or the idea on the napkin. I mean, it's very inspiring. So that's why I really wanted to have you guys on, because I am more my show is really kind of for entrepreneurs, people that are going after things that they believe in and making stuff happen. So it's, yeah, please share with us. What are the redheaded
so
stepchild?
yeah, I
Yeah.
actually have a couple of quick thoughts, and one of the reasons why you'd mentioned, okay, you guys are working on a lot of things, and Tony was like, yeah, because as far as like other businesses are concerned, so when you're being an entrepreneur, one of the things I would give advice on, something that I learned, was create a lot of revenue streams for yourself, a lot of diverse revenue streams. You know, look at your revenue streams as a stock portfolio, right? Where you have like, hey, if I do an hour's worth of work, I get X amount of dollars, or something that, hey, if I work really hard at this, it can mean a huge, massive commission, you know, and then everything in between as far as, you know, trying to find revenue opportunities for yourself. And that's one of the things I would say, you know, whenever you're exploring opportunities and you're building businesses, work and support other entrepreneurs. Find yourself barter situations where that you can offer them services, they can offer you services, and you're collaborating and you're working on things, and you're learning their products and services, and you're able to sell and,
Sure.
you know, properly send them leads, and vice versa. And then you can set up a commission structure with each other for referrals, and that can turn into another revenue channel for yourself. You know,
Yeah, that's awesome.
repeat, you know, keep finding those partnerships, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's business is one thing, but it's also, you know, creating businesses is one thing, but creating revenue streams where you are very familiar with somebody else's products and services
Sure.
to
Yeah.
the point where you can refer them and earn a commission.
Yeah, I love that. That was great advice. Great advice. So, Tony, do you have some advice you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah. Probably it's very basic advice that I think all our parents taught us when we were kids is just quite simply just be a nice person and always look to help other people first.
Yes.
I think we live in this world where people are a bit kind of selfish and are looking out for number one all the time. And what me and Greg have learned, you know, being salespeople throughout our careers, is you always got to think of your audience. You got to think of your clients, your partners, your friends, your family. You think of other people first. What do they want? What do they need? How can you help them achieve their goals? If you focus on that first, then everything that you're looking to do for yourself, it kind of just falls in place organically, you know? And so it's just be a nice person, be an honest person, help others out, and anything that you want or you need, it'll come to you, because, you know, people gravitate. It's like a magnet, you know? You know, this, like I said, in this day age, people are touting what they're doing. I got this, I got that. Help me, help me, help me. Whereas we're the opposite. We're like, hey, what do you need? How can we help you? Or what are you looking to do to grow a business? Or who do you need to get in front of? Or hey, go to my LinkedIn. If you see anybody I'm connected, you want to meet, let me know. I'll make an introduction, you know? And by doing that, it's helped us make a lot of friends, find a lot of business partners, but also just anytime we need to open a door, they swing wide open for us because we got a really good reputation. You know, we've spent our whole lives building it. But from a business standpoint, we take our personal lives and we imprint it on our businesses and just make sure we're being good, solid people with integrity that are looking to help others first.
I love that. See, you guys are a great balance. So you've got the business advice, Greg, and then Tony, you had come in with the human, good advice for people. I mean, I couldn't agree anymore with both of what you guys shared, but I'm going to start wrapping things up here. I really appreciate your time. I'm excited to see what happens with Hubio. Said that right?
Yes, you did. Thanks.
Right. And I'm going to get all your links. I'm going to put them all in the description of the episode so that if anybody wants to reach out to you for any of the different things and where they can follow Tony Pease to find out when the next events are going to be happening, hopefully here very soon, and all the other different business ventures. So you guys will have to make sure I have all those links to put those in there. But Greg, thank you very much for your time today. Tony, I appreciate you guys are just awesome. I was really looking forward to this, so I'm glad that we were able to make it happen. With that being said, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is your host, Deanna Kuempel, from Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and I will be talking to you soon.